Well, I'm actually an airline pilot for my day job and an instructor on the Airbus 319-320 for Virgin America Airlines. We started up in August of 2007, going into our fourth year of operation here, not too far down the road, and we're expanding very well. I've been an aviator pretty much all my life and an instructor as well.
When you say started up in 2007, is that when Virgin America began operations in the U.S. or?
Yes, that is when we started, and it's a U.S. company. 25% of the company is owned by Richard Branson, and the rest of it is owned by investors here in the U.S.
What brings you to the International Space Development Conference?
Well, to be honest with you, ever since I was about 3 or 4 years old, it's been airplanes and rockets, and it hasn't stopped yet. Obviously, space travel and rockets have been a huge interest of mine, as many of these people here at the conference. And along the way, I ran into the International Space Development Conference about 4 years ago with the National Space Society. And a brainstorm with some of the folks here about 3 years ago was to form a program called the Space Ambassador Program, which we just kicked off May 7th, just prior to this conference. It's off and running and doing a very good job. And over the course of the last 2 years, I was made director of the Space Ambassador Program, and to develop that program and get it up and running. And now it is.
And what is this Space Ambassadors Program?
Okay, the Space Ambassador Program is a group of volunteers from around the planet. We have representation in Russia, England, Japan, Australia, India, Pakistan, you name it, as well as here in the United States. These volunteers are people that have the dream and want to spread the dream alive. What we're trying to do is educate students around the globe about what's coming down the pike for them. In the space industry, it's no longer just the European Space Agency or JAXA in Japan or NASA. As we know, the Obama administration has made a hard right turn with the space initiative. And part of that hard right turn is the development of commercial space. And most people are not aware of what's actually happening out there right now. Virgin Galactic, one of our biggest sponsors, for instance, is working on space tourism. They're actually into their 7th test flight just a week or two ago with Spaceship Two. And with a little bit of hard work and good testing results, here in just in the next year or two, we're going to be actually looking at space travel for tourists into space, suborbital. There's also SpaceX. As you know, and most people know now, that the space shuttle is coming to a close in this very next launch of STS-135. That launch will be the end of the shuttle program, and somehow or another you have to get passengers, astronauts, and cargo to the International Space Station. The only reliance we have right now is with the Russian rocket and spaceship Soyuz. And that's very limiting, as 3 passengers up and back and not an awful lot of cargo. Part of this initiative was to get entrance into commercial space. SpaceX, for instance, believe it or not, has already done 5 test launches with Falcon 1 and Falcon 9, a heavier lift type of vehicle, and is well on the road to proving that they can deliver passengers and cargo to the space station. Other companies as well are into this same endeavor. Many people don't realize that International Space Station is not the only space station that's going to be up there. Bigelow Aerospace, for instance, out in Nevada. A lot of people don't realize there's actually 2 private space stations testing right now in orbit above our heads. They've been up there since, I think, 2006. And much larger versions are under construction. And these will be privately owned, private industry space stations that can be used by pharmaceutical companies, NASA, whoever needs to use them. So there's a lot going on in the private sector and in space, and this also frees up resources for NASA and ESA to go deeper into space and do the exploration thing that they do best. and leave the low Earth orbit everyday business of handling space close to Earth up to commercial industry. And we're trying to get that message out to students and the public in general, so that it gives them an opportunity to make a good, educated guess of what they want to do with their education in their future, in a nutshell.